Okay.
mom was born and raised in Arkansas. I was actually born in Arkansas.
Were you really?
Yeah,
So we're
in Camden. And my parents, my dad lives in Maumelle, my mom lives in Conway right
okay.
now.
So Camden, I played their football team, Camden Fairview. I actually had one of my best games. But yeah, anyways, small world, man.
Yeah,
So I'm originally from that area. It's a really crime-stricken area. It's
yeah,
sad. There's some parts that look almost like a third world country you wouldn't expect to be in America.
yeah.
Just some neighborhoods that are just super beat down, and that's where I grew up. I didn't have a mom and dad. My mom left me at birth. She was
Oh
only
wow.
16. I was kind of an accident, there was a
Yeah.
hookup in a minivan, and she was pregnant. Crazy story about that is she was in Detroit, Michigan, living in an attic of some stranger's home, doing drugs, man. And she found out she was pregnant and she was scared. So she called my great grandmother, and my great grandmother bought her a bus ticket to come back to Arkansas. And my great grandmother saved my life. And so my great grandmother ended up raising me.
Mhm.
She ended up adopting me later on in life. And my great grandmother was a godsend, but unfortunately, my great grandmother was a really bad hoarder too.
Yeah.
We lived in this trailer park in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and dogs ran inside and out, cats inside and out. My great grandmother, she would go to yard sales, and I knew the rule. It was when we get out of the car, you don't touch anything, say anything. We would make the loop around like we were going to buy something, and then on a little piece of paper, she always had written out her phone number and name, and she would say, "Look, we don't have any, or we don't need anything that you have, but if you want to get rid of anything, just give me a call." And I kid you
Mm.
not, they would call her and we would go over there and get all the stuff from what they didn't sell, and she would stack it in our trailer somewhere. So it was just a mess. And with
She would
that
just
came
keep it like that. She was just keeping it.
just keep it, just hoarding it, dude.
No reason. Just
No
wow.
reason. And so
Wow.
living in this little single wide trailer and trying to get to my bedroom was almost impossible. And then trying to cats and dogs running in and out, the smell was horrendous, man. I'm telling you, it was bad.
Yeah.
And so at night, I would try to go to sleep. I would take a pie pan and I'd put some soapy water in the middle, and I would, or some soapy water in the pan, and I would put a candle in the middle and light that candle. And you would just watch all the fleas just diving in that water, and it would attract the fleas just so I could sleep and get some rest. It was really rough, man. It
Wow.
was really, and so I would take my clothes and tie them in bed sheets, because the stench was so bad in the house. I would try to spray them with things, and so I just always felt like I didn't belong. I felt like I didn't
Yeah.
belong at school. I didn't feel like I belonged, at church. I didn't have the nice clothes that everybody else wore, and then at school I smelled bad. So who wants to be around me? It
Yeah.
was just one of those bad cycles. And so at the age of 9, 10, I encountered a family. There was someone in our family that sexually abused me and my cousin, and
Wow.
and several others, and no one ever came out and talked about it until one day I did. I was young and 9 years old, and I told my great grandmother, and my great grandmother looked at me and she said, "I'm so sorry, but you can never say a word to anyone about that."
Wow.
And it broke my heart, man, because it's like, well, who do I talk to then? What do I do? So I lived this first part of my life feeling defeated in everything that I did. I didn't feel loved. I didn't feel wanted. I didn't feel as if I was secure, if I had anyone.
Yeah.
And so at age 13, I decided I'm going to leave the church. Now, my great grandmother raised me in the church. She was a very strict Pentecostal woman.
Mhm.
But my pastor bought me my first suit when I was just a teenager, and, I remember wearing that suit, and he wanted me to have it because he wanted me to feel as if I fit in to the
Yeah.
church, and I wore it, and, an elderly man, right when I came to the door, said, "Wow, they finally taught trailer trash how to dress."
Wow.
Yeah, as a kid, this is an elderly man speaking to a young kid, and so I went home and I yelled at God and I screamed at God, and I was so upset. And I was done. My cousin, who was just as poor as I uh, was in a gang, and he always had nice clothes.